Welcome to the Out of the Groove Downhill Diecast Championship. In this tournament, 16 Lionel Racing diecast cars will be put to the ultimate test at Groove City. The field has been divided into Eastern and Western conferences. Today we'll begin with the latter. 8 Western Conference racers representing 5 different US states and 2 different countries will participate in their first round matchups. And then later this week, the 8 Eastern Conference drivers will get their turn. All eyes are out west though. Let's take a look at our Western Conference bracket. Kyle Larson is the number 1 seed. He was the fastest in qualifying. He'll face off against Bubba Wallace, who was the 8th quickest out of the Western Conference. Some highly anticipated matchups though, including Kyle Busch versus Daniel Suarez. We'll begin though with Kurt Busch out of Las Vegas, Nevada. He'll go toe-to-toe with Alex Bowman out of Tucson, Arizona. Bowman's car may say best friends, but he and Kurt Busch are bitter rivals as they take the green here in race 1. It is all Kurt Busch as he cruises across the finish line to take a 1-0 series lead in this best of 5. Well, that set the tone early. Kurt Busch with a performance MJ would be proud of. Alex Bowman will try to even the series. He now has that preferred right-hand lane. He makes the pass on Kurt Busch in turn 1 to the line. It's a photo finish. Kurt Busch around the outside made things interesting. I think Bowman in the 48 held on, yes, by just a fender. Alex Bowman evens the series. He left that outside lane open and Kurt Busch used the momentum, almost beat the 48 to the line there. What a finish in race 2. Time for a crucial race 3. Kurt Busch back in that preferred right-hand lane. He makes the pass on Alex Bowman, pulling away. And Kurt Busch is crashed in the final corner. Alex Bowman takes a 2-1 series lead, but all eyes are on the 45 of Kurt Busch, who is on his side in the final turn. What could have happened? Kurt Busch hit a seam in the track. These potholes, man, you never know what to expect at a street course, especially one of the first races of the day. Some repairs to that final turn will likely need to be made. Just unfortunate there for Kurt Busch as he'll attempt to get back on all 4 wheels. The crowd gives him a nice standing ovation, and we'll move on to race 4. Alex Bowman could end the series right here. He's in the preferred lane, but Kurt Busch has the early advantage. Bowman makes the pass. Kurt Busch trying to rally to the inside. It's Kurt Busch at the line by less than half a car length. Our second photo finish. This time, Kurt Busch uses the left-hand lane. Thank you very much. And noses out in front of the 48. Backed against the wall, facing elimination. Kurt Busch bounces back from that unfortunate race 3 to take home the victory in race 4 and force a decisive race 5. Wow, it doesn't get much closer than that. What a battle between these 2 competitors. Race 5, winner take all. Kurt Busch in the preferred lane gets a huge jump. Does Bowman have anything for him? No, he does not. Kurt Busch bounces back from a disappointing race 3 to win the series and advance to the Western Conference semifinal round. An impressive effort from Alex Bowman going door to door with Kurt Busch, but he didn't have the speed to match the 45 in that final race. Kurt Busch sends Alex Bowman home early. He'll face the winner of Kyle Busch versus Daniel Suarez coming up later. Our next matchup features California's Kyle Larson versus Mobile, Alabama's Bubba Wallace. We've eagerly anticipated this matchup. Race 1 is green. Kyle Larson pulling away from Bubba Wallace. He'll hold the lead around the final turn. Kyle Larson wins race 1 in convincing fashion. Larson was the fastest in qualifying. Bubba Wallace had trouble finding consistent speed in his 23. Perhaps Bubba Wallace can make some magic happen from that inside lane. Green flag is out, but Larson is pulling away. Kyle Larson looks to take a commanding 2-0 series lead, and he will do just that. Both cars were pretty even down the back straight away until they got into that braking zone. You can see the 5 pulling away, clearly handling quite a bit better than the 23 is at this point. Bubba Wallace gonna do everything he can to avoid elimination. Kyle Larson from that preferred inside groove though is pulling away, and California's Kyle Larson will complete the sweep. Kyle Larson is moving on to the Western Conference semifinals. One of our most eagerly anticipated matchups is over about as quickly as it started. Very dominant performance from Kyle Larson, our top seed. Next up, Kyle Busch will go up against Monterrey, Mexico's Daniel Suarez. Winner will advance to face Kurt Busch in the second round. Green flag is out. Kyle Busch with the early lead. And around goes the 18 and the 99, both now sliding backwards across the finish. Kyle Busch wins, a little backwards bump drafting, the two moonwalking across the finish line, but Kyle Busch will get credited with the victory. What happened here? Kyle Busch is already out of control before they even get to the final turn. Meanwhile, Suarez seemed to break loose in the center. Maybe he locked up the brakes trying to avoid the 18. Not sure, but either way, only in die-cast racing do you see a finish quite like this one. Kyle Busch up 1-0. Can Daniel Suarez even it up? Now Daniel Suarez will be in the preferred inside lane. Green flag is out. Suarez has the lead. Kyle Busch sliding down the front straightaway is unable to catch the 99. Daniel Suarez gets the win, but watch the 18 here. He was breaking loose all the way down this front stretch. Oh, look at that drift, left, right. But was unable to catch the 99. Daniel Suarez evens the series. Race 3, Kyle Busch down low, Daniel Suarez up top. They are door to door down the drop. Suarez to the high side, makes the pass on Kyle Busch and wins race 3. What a move by the Trackhouse Racing driver. Kyle Busch got a little squirrely on entry there, and Daniel Suarez ripped the top beautifully to make a clean pass for the win. Suarez now has a 2-1 series lead. Kyle Busch looking to avoid elimination. Suarez in that inside lane draws up even with Busch, but Kyle Busch down the hill is able to hold off the 99 and force a race 5. Great performance out of Kyle Busch, the veteran driver. When the money is on the line, when the pressure is at its peak, he rises to the occasion. He'll have to do it one more time though. Race 5, Kyle Busch on the inside, Suarez up high. They are side by side, door to door, across the line. Kyle Busch, by a fender, will move on to the second round. I don't believe what I just saw. It's rare that you see two cars side by side for an entire lap in downhill die-cast racing. Kyle Busch by that much gets it done. Even in the open track, they were bouncing off each other, leaning on each other's side door. It's Kyle Busch, the wild thing, who gets the series victory. Wow. That matchup was an instant classic. Unfortunately, only one can advance, and it's Kyle Busch who will get to face his brother Kurt Busch in next week's matchup. Our final series of the day sees Norman, Oklahoma's Christopher Bell take on Kevin Harvick out of Bakersfield, California. Should be a great matchup. Race 1 is set to go green. Kevin Harvick takes the early lead, pulling away. Ooh, maybe a little contact with the outside wall, but it's Kevin Harvick who holds on to win race 1. Let's see that again. Oh no, it wasn't the wall. He got into those bushes there on the side of the freeway. In fact, Kevin Harvick was actually 2 wheels off course, out of control. A lot of speed in that 4. Race 2, Christopher Bell now leading that inside line. Green flag is out. Harvick still side by side, tries to use the inside. Now he spins across the line. It's Kevin Harvick though with the victory. He goes up 2-0. He and Christopher Bell sliding across the finish. You don't see that every day. Harvick with a great move to get to the inside of Bell and then moves up, maybe thought he was clear, instead ends up turned into the outside wall but gets pushed across the line for the win. He'll take it. Time for race 3. Bell looking to avoid being swept. He gets a huge launch here out of the outside, but Harvick battles back side by side. Bell pulls away there in the home stretch. Got to see what happened there. Bell avoids elimination. Maybe Harvick got into the outside wall. We'll have to see that maybe from a different angle. Harvick and Christopher Bell side by side right there. Yeah, can't tell if Bell maybe forced Harvick up into the fence. Either way, gotta do what you gotta do to avoid elimination. Time for race number 4. Christopher Bell on the inside, but Harvick gets away on the start. Side by side down the drop, it's Kevin Harvick, the closer, who seals the deal and advances past the first round. Christopher Bell pulled out just about every trick in the book, but it wasn't enough to stop Happy Harvick from moving on to the Western Conference semis, where he'll face off against Kyle Larson in next week's matchup. Welcome to the Out of the Groove Downhill Diecast Championship, coming to you live from Groove City. Today, the Eastern Conference drivers will get their first look at this all-new street course. Earlier this week, our 8 Western Conference drivers made their debut. We whittled that field down from 8 to 4. Today, 8 Eastern Conference drivers representing 7 different states will match up 1v1 to see who can advance to the Eastern Conference semifinals. Let's take a look at the Eastern Conference bracket. Chase Elliott set the fastest time in qualifying. He's the number 1 seed. Denny Hamlin, Ross Chastain, we'll see their matchup later today, one of the most highly anticipated rivalries of this entire first round. First up though, it's Chase Elliott, the top seed. He'll do battle against Austin Cindric, the 8 seed, who brought his Daytona 500 car to a road course. Race 1, set to go green. Chase Elliott, Austin Cindric, green flag is in the air, and Chase Elliott, the road course ace, is pulling away. He sends a message here in race 1, winning handily. I guess this is what happens when you bring a super speedway car to a road course. It's tough to get up to speed. We'll see if Austin Cindric has that engine warmed up. Green flag is out in race 2. Chase Elliott nosing ahead, but here comes Austin Cindric. Now he's got that thing running at full song. Austin Cindric wins race 2. You know, everyone is aware of Chase Elliott's road course dominance, but Austin Cindric is no slouch at the left and right hand turns either. A crucial race 3. Chase Elliott now is in that preferred right-hand lane. He gets a good jump. Cindric once again having a difficult time getting up to speed. Chase Elliott will win race 3 easily. That's a 2-1 series lead for the Napa Auto Parts Chevy. Can Austin Cindric force a race 5? Backed against the wall. Once again, Chase Elliott nosing out in front. But once that 2 car gets up to speed, he's tough to beat. Austin Cindric wins race 4 and will force a decisive race 5. What a performance out of Austin Cindric in a super speedway car. Wow. Winner take all. Race 5. Chase Elliott gets a huge launch. He's not letting that 2 car get up to speed. Chase Elliott, on the biggest of stages, gets the victory. He eliminates Austin Cindric. Chase Elliott will move on to the Eastern Conference semifinals. For a 1 vs 8 matchup, give Cindric some credit. That was very competitive. Our next first round matchup will see Brad Keselowski face off against his former teammate, Joey Logano. Race 1. Keselowski gets a solid launch. Now Keselowski rockets away from Joey Logano. What a victory for Brad Keselowski here in race 1. Some sneaky speed out of that RFK number 6. Joey Logano gonna look to even the series. Now he's in that preferred inside lane, but Keselowski around the outside now tries to muscle his way past Logano. Keselowski wins race 2. Doesn't matter what lane he's in, that 6 car looks strong. What a move to the inside. Takes Logano's line away. Some short track racing at a road course. There's few better than Brad Keselowski. Joey Logano looking to avoid being swept. Keselowski now from the preferred lane. There's no competition. Brad Keselowski slides across the finish line. Crazy speed out of that RFK number 6. He wins his Eastern Conference first round matchup. Just like that, Brad Keselowski heads to the second round. Wow. Keselowski will face the winner of Ryan Blaney versus Corey LaJoie. Race 1, Corey LaJoie in that preferred inside lane. They're side by side through turn 1, still side by side. Now Blaney pulls ahead in the final corner. Ryan Blaney steals race 1. A very competitive opening race. You see Blaney almost lost it there on the home stretch, but they were side by side going down the drop. Blaney was able to edge ahead. Tremendous first race. Let's see what race 2 has in store for us. Corey LaJoie looking to even the series. Blaney, though, from that inside lane's pulling away. Ryan Blaney cruises to the win in race 2. Lots of speed under the hood of that Advanced Auto Parts number 12. Blaney looking to be the third different driver to sweep their first round matchup this season. LaJoie trying to stop him. Can Corey LaJoie get on the scoreboard? He's in that inside lane. Corey LaJoie side by side now pulling ahead from Blaney. Corey LaJoie fends off elimination. Corey LaJoie forces a race 4. Just tremendous work by the 7 car using that high line. Blaney will try to end things here. Green flag is out. Side by side now, Blaney inching ahead, now pulling ahead. Ryan Blaney will move on to the second round of the Eastern Conference bracket. A great battle from Corey LaJoie, but he was no match for the black and yellow Penske Ford of Ryan Blaney. Our final first round matchup is one we've all been waiting for. Denny Hamlin versus Ross Chastain. The rivalry heads to die-cast racing. Green flag is out, side by side now, Hamlin inching ahead. Ross Chastain mounts a charge, runs into the back of Denny Hamlin, but is unable to make the pass. Only one race in and already some contact between familiar foes. Ross Chastain got a huge run around the high side, but wasn't able to complete the pass. Now Ross Chastain is in that preferred right-hand lane. Green flag is out, and what a jump for the Watermelon Man. Ross Chastain will cruise to the victory in race 2. He evens the series at 1 win apiece. Look at how high he was here in that final turn, almost up against the wall. Few better than Ross Chastain at using that high line. Who can take control of this series? Denny Hamlin inching ahead. Ross Chastain trying to rally. Once again around the high side, more contact. Denny Hamlin hangs on for the win in race 3. Wow. Once again, Chastain had a run around the top, but Denny Hamlin shut the door late. No love lost between these two. The right lane has won each race so far. Chastain needs to continue that trend to avoid elimination. Ross Chastain pulling ahead. In the clutch, Ross Chastain wins race 4 and will force a winner-take-all race 5. Excellent work by Ross Chastain using that inside lane to his advantage to make the pass. Denny Hamlin was the faster car in qualifying, so Chastain will have the deck stacked against him in this final race. One race to decide this first round matchup. Denny Hamlin using that inside lane to his advantage takes the lead. Ross Chastain once again around the high side. Ross Chastain, I don't believe it, steals race 5 and will move on to the second round of the Eastern Conference bracket. Look at this, 2 completely different lanes. Chastain again ripping the fence. He noses out in front of Denny Hamlin and wins race 5 and takes home the series. I can't believe it. Denny Hamlin can't believe what just happened, although he's seen it before. Ross Chastain moves on. What a dramatic conclusion to today's Eastern Conference first round. Chase Elliott, Ross Chastain, Brad Keselowski, and Ryan Blaney advance. If we look at the Western Conference bracket, Kyle Larson, Kevin Harvick, and Kurt and Kyle Busch advanced in the last video. Welcome back to the Out of the Groove Downhill Diecast Championship. Coming to you live from Groove City Circuit, where 8 drivers will be whittled down to our Championship 4. First, let's look at the Western Conference bracket. Kyle Larson, Kevin Harvick, Kurt and Kyle Busch remain, but only 2 will exit today, still in contention. Over in the Eastern Conference, Chase Elliott will match up against Ross Chastain, and Brad Keselowski will face off against his former teammate, Ryan Blaney. Kyle Larson swept his first round matchup. He'll now go toe-to-toe against the closer, Kevin Harvick, who bested Christopher Bell in 4 races. 2 drivers from California going head-to-head here in the Western Conference semis. Kevin Harvick gets a great launch and will cruise to the race 1 victory despite being in the non-preferred lane. Great speed out of that subway machine. What does Kyle Larson have for him? Larson will look to even the series, although now Harvick is in the control lane and he gets a great jump using that inside lane to perfection. Kevin Harvick takes a commanding 2-0 series lead. Kyle Larson looked dominant in his first round matchup, but now he's facing elimination. Can Kevin Harvick seal the deal? Green flag is out for race 3. Larson trying to battle in that inside lane, but it's not enough. Kevin Harvick with the 3-0 series sweep. He knocks off the top-seeded Kyle Larson in dominant fashion. Vintage Kevin Harvick here in the Western Conference semifinal round. He'll move on to the Western Finals, where he'll face the winner of Kurt versus Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch won his first round matchup against Daniel Suarez. Meanwhile, Kurt Busch bested Alex Bowman in an epic 5-race bout. Brothers off the track, Toyota teammates on the track, but today they're bitter rivals. Kurt Busch trying to use that inside lane. He inches ahead and gets pushed across the finish line. Kurt Busch wins race number 1. Kyle Busch looking for an opening, but Kurt didn't leave him one. 1-0 series lead for the 45. Kyle Busch will look to even the series. Now he's in that preferred right-hand lane, but Kurt gets a tremendous jump. Kyle Busch with a great pass on the inside, though, is going to come from behind to win race number 2. Textbook use of that preferred inside lane. Look at the ground Kyle Busch makes up. Wow. A pivotal race 3 is on deck. Kurt Busch on the inside, Kyle Busch on the outside. Kurt is pulling away slowly but surely. Kurt Busch wins race 3. So far, that inside lane has won every race this series, but they haven't been blowouts. Can Kurt Busch eliminate his brother in race 4? Green flag is out. Kyle gets a good jump, pulling away down the home stretch. Kyle Busch once again forces a race 5 for the second series in a row. He did this in the first round and managed to move on. Can Kyle Busch make it 2 straight race 5 victories to get to the Western Conference Finals? Kurt versus Kyle Busch. For all the marbles, green flag is out. Kurt Busch side by side as they head down the drop. Now Kyle slides, contact in the final corner, but it's Kyle Busch who does it again. Kyle Busch in the clutch once more, fends off his older brother Kurt. What a battle between these two Toyotas, side by side through the final turn. Kyle with the squeeze there on corner exit gets the job done. Kyle Busch will advance to the Western Conference Finals, where he'll face off against Kevin Harvick. You'll see that battle next week, but for now, let's turn things over to the Eastern Conference, where our final 4 will be whittled down to 2. We'll begin with Brad Keselowski versus Ryan Blaney. That 6 car was one of the big surprises of that first round, sweeping his former teammate Joey Logano in 3 races. Now he'll have to do battle with another Penske foe, Ryan Blaney. Race 1, Brad Keselowski on the inside, but Blaney trying to inch ahead. They're side by side. Now Brad pulls away. Brad Keselowski, still undefeated in this tournament. He wins race 1. Can Ryan Blaney make an adjustment? Now he's in that preferred line, side by side out the gate. Now Blaney inching ahead, Keselowski rallying, but it's too little too late. Ryan Blaney hangs on to even the series at 1 apiece. Look at the slide out of Keselowski heading into that final corner. Wow. Both drivers, both cars on the very edge of control. Race 3, side by side once again. Keselowski pulling away. There's that round 1 speed once more. Brad Keselowski takes a 2-1 series victory. You'd think we were at a super speedway with the amount of speed this RFK Ford is showing in this tournament. Can Brad Keselowski send Ryan Blaney home? Green flag is out in race 4. Keselowski pulling ahead. Now Blaney side by side through the final corner. It's Keselowski in the home stretch, nosing out in front. Brad Keselowski will head to the Eastern Conference Finals as he bests Ryan Blaney in 4 races. What a move by Bad Brad. So far, it's been all veteran drivers between Kevin Harvick and Kyle Busch, and now Brad Keselowski advancing to the Eastern Conference Finals. Our final matchup of the day, though, is between 2 young guns. Chase Elliott was able to advance out of the first round in 5 exciting races. He'll face off against Ross Chastain, the most entertaining thing on four wheels. All eyes on this matchup. Green flag is out, Chase Elliott inching ahead, but Ross Chastain's tracking him down. Contact! Chase Elliott holds on for the race 1 victory. Look at how high Ross Chastain gets. This track can barely contain that one car. He's got so much speed. But can Ross Chastain channel that raw speed into victories? Green flag is out in race 2, and there goes the watermelon man. Ross Chastain convincingly takes race number 2. I feel like as long as Chastain has that preferred inside lane, he will be tough to beat. Unfortunately for him, Chase Elliott, the higher seed, is back in the inside for race 3, and he uses it to take the lead. Chastain once again battles back but can't make the pass. Chase Elliott taking full advantage of that inside lane to hold off a hard-charging Chastain. Elliott may have a 2-1 series lead, but it's going to be tough to beat Chastain from the outside lane. Green flag is out, and sure enough, Ross is pulling away. Ross Chastain, with that inside line, looks nearly unbeatable. Lucky for Chase, he'll have that advantage in race 5. Our final matchup of the day goes right down to the wire. Chase Elliott on the inside, Chastain pulling ahead on the outside. Now they're side by side. It's Ross Chastain around the final corner who pulls ahead and wins race 5 to head to the Eastern Conference Finals. What an effort, what a challenge. Chastain had to get it done despite not being in the preferred lane in that final race. He'll join Brad Keselowski as the final 2 competitors out of the Eastern Conference. Our Championship 4 has officially been set. From the West, Kyle Busch versus Kevin Harvick, and out East, Ross Chastain versus Brad Keselowski. Welcome to the Out of the Groove Downhill Diecast Championship. Our 16 diecasts have been whittled down to our Championship 4. 2 drivers representing the Western Conference and 2 from out East. Let's first take a look at our Western Conference bracket. Only Kevin Harvick and Kyle Busch remain. Taking a glance at the Eastern Conference bracket, we're down to Brad Keselowski and Ross Chastain, who will do battle later today. The weather is beautiful here today at Groove City. The crowd is beginning to file in. We're ready for our first matchup of the day. Kyle Busch used some unorthodox maneuvers to get through that first round matchup against Daniel Suarez. Then in the Western Conference semis, Kyle Busch took his brother Kurt to 5 races, a decisive winner-take-all event. Kyle Busch will battle Kevin Harvick for the Western Conference crown. Kevin Harvick did a little off-roading and slid his way past Christopher Bell in round 1. Then in the Western Conference semis, he made quick work of Kyle Larson, sweeping him in 3 races. It's time for Busch versus Harvick, best of 5. The grid is set for race number 1. Kyle Busch in that preferred inside lane draws up side by side with Harvick. Side by side around the final corner, it's Kevin Harvick winning the first race of this matchup. What a move by Harvick, using that inside lane on the final turn to bully his way past Rowdy Busch. Kyle Busch now looking to even this series, but Harvick is now in that preferred lane. Busch gets a good launch, but Kevin Harvick now pulling away. Kyle charging, but it's too little too late. Kevin Harvick takes a commanding 2-0 series lead, using that preferred inside groove to his advantage. Kyle Busch just too little too late in the home stretch. Kevin Harvick has put Kyle Busch on the brink of elimination. Race 3, luckily for Kyle Busch, he's in that preferred inside groove. He gets a great launch, but here comes Harvick around the outside. Kyle Busch making that 18 car wide. He holds off Harvick to force a race 4. Look at that, Harvick all up underneath the back end of the 18, trying to get Kyle Busch loose, but we all know no one does car control quite like Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch still needs to steal this win away to force a race 5. He gets a good launch, but here comes Harvick using that preferred inside lane. Kevin Harvick, no doubt about it. He closes out the Western Conference Finals in 4. Kevin Harvick, the closer, will move on to the overall finals. He'll be representing the Western Conference. What a battle by Kyle Busch, but it just wasn't enough to stop Happy Harvick. Before the Eastern Conference Finals kick off, let's take one more look at the Eastern Conference bracket. Brad Keselowski and Ross Chastain remain. Let's see how Brad Keselowski got to this point. He bested his former teammate Joey Logano and then his other former teammate Ryan Blaney in the first 2 rounds. Meanwhile, Ross Chastain put on a show against Denny Hamlin, using every inch of racetrack to try and beat Hamlin. He managed to best him on the final 5th race. He then beat Chase Elliott in the semifinal round to move on to the finals. Winner moves on to face Kevin Harvick. The Eastern Conference Finals are green and Brad Keselowski is pulling away. Brad Keselowski wins race 1 handily. Chastain's already ready to re-rack and stack him. Race 2 now, Chastain using that preferred inside lane to draw up even with Keselowski, but now Brad pulling away and sliding across the finish line. Brad Keselowski steals race 2, contact as they slide across the line. Ross Chastain tried the crossover, then tried to look high, maybe some contact. Ended up pushing Brad Keselowski across the finish. Wow, what a show. Just like that though, Ross Chastain is facing elimination. Can he make something happen from the outside lane? Keselowski pulling away, Chastain charging, there's contact! And I believe the rear diffuser of Keselowski crossed the line first. Wow, look at this. Ross Chastain with the right hook coming down the final corner ends up pushing Keselowski across the line. Just too much speed out of that 6 car. Brad Keselowski sweeps his way into the overall finals. Brad Keselowski's your winner of the Eastern Conference Finals. Chastain put on a show, but he couldn't match the raw speed of Brad Keselowski, who will battle Kevin Harvick in a best of 7. East versus West, 2 Fords, 2 veterans. Who will be the overall champion? Race 1 is green, and Brad Keselowski gets passed at the last moment by Kevin Harvick. I was ready to call this as an easy win for the 6, but something appeared to break in the rear of the car around the final corner, and Kevin Harvick swipes race 1 away. Hopefully the RFK boys can get that 6 car fixed for race 2. All good, says the Roush Fenway Keselowski team. Brad now in that outside lane trying to battle back, but it's Kevin Harvick pulling away. A hard charge from Keselowski is too little too late as Kevin Harvick has a 2-0 series lead. Great move from Keselowski here to the inside, but just didn't quite have enough momentum to make it happen before they got to the line. Harvick with a 2-0 series lead. Reminder, this is a best of 7. Brad Keselowski has the lead here in race 3. He pulls away and easily takes the victory. Brad Keselowski, fresh off that sweep in the Eastern Conference Finals, is now on the scoreboard versus Kevin Harvick. That's got to make his RFK team happy. Can Brad K even this series here? Green flag is out for race 4. Pretty even at the start. Now Harvick pulling away. Kevin Harvick bounces back from a disappointing race 3 to take race 4 and a 3-1 series lead. The closer is getting it done early. Brad Keselowski now on the brink of elimination. Race 5, Keselowski in desperation mode. He has the preferred line. Green flag is out. Kevin Harvick keeping the pressure on him. Contact as they cross the line. But it's Brad Keselowski who will force a race 6. Harvick got just a little too loose to make a move in the closing stretch. But Harvick still has a 3-2 series lead. Brad Keselowski needs some race 6 magic. He gets the early launch, but Harvick with the pass on the inside and the finish. It's Kevin Harvick from Bakersfield, California, representing the Western Conference, who will win the Downhill Diecast Championship. What a move, what a race, what a tournament from Kevin Harvick. Score this one for the veterans. Kevin Harvick wins it here at Groove City. Thank you all so much for watching the latest edition of the Out of the Groove Downhill Diecast Championship. We hope you enjoyed. We'll see you next time.